Welcome everyone, my name is Arminda Cologne and I am the owner and the head co-creator at MyCoCreations. I am honored to be here today participating in this demo, which is just one of the demos that's put on by the Handmade Collective, which I am very appreciative to be a member of. It's an awesome group of handmade artisans from all over, and we've come together as a collective to be able to show you a few of our talents with these demos that we're offering. Today I'm going to show a few natural items that you can use to create your own all-natural first aid kit. And the reason why I chose this is because I believe that every home should have a first aid kit, because you never know when an accident will occur. You should definitely be prepared so that you're more likely to be able to prevent anything more serious from occurring than it actually needs to. A few of the items that I selected to demo today are easily obtainable, they're not expensive, and they're small enough to store easily. I'll also give you a few tips on how or different ways that you can store them and keep small portions so that it's easier to keep in a car, use on a camping trip. You should definitely have one in case you have children and you take them to the playground. It's always good to have a little kit with you, just in case somebody falls down and cuts themselves or anything. You just never know what could happen. So they're also great. This kit would also be great to give as a gift to someone for the holidays, just because I love you, just because you have children. There's different reasons why, but it's also, like I said, very good to keep around the house. In the event that something does occur, you'll be prepared. Now the reason why I'm emphasizing all natural ingredients and organic when possible is because that I believe that nature has provided us with everything that we need to heal and protect ourselves. When we introduce unnatural chemicals into our body, then we are subject to unnecessary side effects, and more times than not, you're not receiving any benefits from those chemicals that have been mixed in with whatever was created to supposedly help the situation. So definitely, like I said, always purchase organic when you're able to. It's just, you're going to be reducing the possibility of pesticides being introduced into the product, which of course are chemicals, and like I said, you don't want to have any harmful side effects, outside of the normal issues that you may experience because of a cut or a bruise or something to that effect. So definitely go all natural, all organic when possible, and you will definitely be happy because you'll be experiencing all the benefits that the plants have to offer. Now today I've decided to do my demo outside in nature, and because of that you may hear some external noises that I have no control over, so I do apologize, but it was a really nice day here in Florida, so I decided to do it outside and use my all-natural theme as my backdrop. So let's see, looking at my notes, and by the way, I am going to provide you with a PDF or make it available after the demo has been released. I will be releasing this PDF of information that I've prepared, because it is a lot of information and it's really great to keep in your first aid kit, right by your first aid kit, or even on your computer so that it's easily accessible at the time when you should need it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with a few tips, and then I'll go over the items in a little bit more detail. So the tips that I have are: buy small containers. I have these containers. This one can be used to make a salve or to store a salve, or a little blend that I will explain to you in a little bit. Then I have this one, which is a little squeeze bottle. and this is good for storing liquids, small amounts of liquids. Then I also have these, which are essential oil jars, or what I refer to them as, but they're just amber colored glass jars or containers that have a little lid, and they're really great because of the amber color, the darker color, as opposed to a clear color. It helps to keep the vitamins and nutrients and minerals and the plant oils intact, as opposed to a clear jar or container, which would they would seep out. They would be absorbed by the sun rays, or just naturally they would leave the container a lot faster than if it's stored in a darker jar. So you definitely want to keep a few of these little containers around if you're looking to have a really small, compact first aid kit. And like I said, I'll explain a little bit more in depth as to how you can use those in a minute. But you definitely want to keep all of these items together in a sealable bag, and you're going to store them in a cool, dry place. And this is because essential oils and soap and all of your blends and salads that you make are you want them to be as fresh as possible. And because they're all natural and they don't contain preservatives, they are more subject to going bad a lot faster than if they did contain pesticides and preservatives. There's definitely natural preservatives out there that you can use. However, when it comes to being able to benefit from the essential oils and the minerals and the nutrients of the herbs and what have you, then you always want to make sure that you're using the freshest as possible. It's also, like I said, a good idea to check on your first aid kit about every 3 to 6 months, I would suggest. And that's just to make sure that you have an ample supply of everything, to make sure everything is at its freshest, and that everything is there when the time comes that you need it. You'll be happy that you did do that. You may not be able to store some of the items in a kit that I'm going to suggest today, but they are easy to carry around with you and easy to replenish. So if you don't think that you're going to be using these items that we put together for the first aid kit, or you want to make sure that you don't have to check on them as often, you can also store them in the refrigerator. By storing them in the refrigerator, they may lose some of the potency of the essential oils, herbs, or what have you, but then you're also making sure that they don't have bacteria and that they last a lot longer than if they were just sitting out somewhere else. Let's see. Looking at my notes, if you're going to make a tea, it's a good idea to use the herb, flower, or plant such as lavender, lemongrass, cinnamon, as opposed to using an essential oil. And that's because their essential oils are extremely potent. And although I've read many times that you can intake and ingest essential oils, I personally don't do it. And that's because of the high potency that they contain, and they're very concentrated. I would just much rather use the actual herb, plant, root, leaf, what have you, to obtain the benefits in the tea form. So definitely use the herbs when you can, and if you want to ingest the essential oils, I would suggest using those that are only all organic, as opposed to just all natural. And do your research, because like I said, they're highly potent. They may cause some issues with your system if you take them at a dosage that is not balanced. And for those of you that don't know, essential oils are plant oil extracts that have been extracted from the whole plant. They're used for many various things, and the end result of the processes that are done to the plants, which are various. There are a number of different ways that they extract these oils, but the end result is a highly potent plant oil, which contains all of the nutrients, vitamins, minerals that the plant has to offer. And this oil is not greasy, oily, it doesn't have that oily consistency that you may be associating with when you think oil. It's nothing like that. It just goes on, and just like water, it doesn't have an oily, greasy feeling to it. So it's just the oil that has been extracted from the plant, and it's going to be extremely healing and beneficial. Each essential oil has many benefits to them, so it's definitely a good idea for you to research a little bit more in depth on each of the oils I'm going to give you today, because I'm just giving you a few of the benefits and a few of the suggestions of what you can do with them. And finally, it's really a good idea that you dilute all of your essential oils with either a water or an oil, and there's several oils that you can use. I'm going to name only one today. I'm going to demo only one today, but you can also use grapeseed, almond oil, walnut. There's so many out there that you can choose from. So again, do your research and become more familiar with them, and each has their own unique benefits and vitamins and minerals that they offer. So you may want to just experiment and create different concoctions and see what you come up with that works best for your body and your skin and your family. And it's also a really good idea if you do a patch test. Just place a drop or two of your blend, of your mix, on your skin after you make it, just to make sure that it reacts well with your body. Some people are sensitive, have sensitive skin, and some people don't. They don't do well with some essential oils. So you just want to do a little patch test, and after 24 hours, probably a little bit less, but definitely within 24 hours, you should see if you have any kind of adverse reactions to the essential oil that you used. So now let me go ahead and go over my list that I've created. And the first item that I have on my list is water. I don't actually have any out here with me right now. However, it's not really something I need to demo, I guess. The only thing that I would really say about the water is that you definitely want to use filtered water, distilled water, or alkaline water. Never, ever use tap water. There are just so much pollutants and so many things in the tap water that you would not even think that that's contained in there. Pills, leftover pills from people who might dump them, and everything that is processed in order to provide you with the tap water that is so-called potable is it's not good. So I wouldn't ever suggest to use tap water for anything except for maybe cleaning your dishes. So the next item on the list are bandages. You want to have a few bandages on hand in your kit, and you will use those to cover the cut or burn once it's been cleaned with one of the various methods that I'll share with you today. So water and bandages. You can keep water you can keep it in a bottle and then keep that with you wherever you go, making sure to change it out every couple of weeks. I mean, I personally I like to have everything as fresh as possible, so even with water, I won't keep it around for more than 2 weeks without changing it out. So you keep a bottle of water, small bottles. If you want, you can buy those little tiny small bottles, plastic bottles. You want to go with a BPA-free plastic bottle if possible, so it doesn't leach. I'm always a proponent for using glass, so anytime I store anything, I'm going to be using glass for the most part. Sometimes if I'm unable to obtain glass, such as in these small little bottles, I just make sure that they're BPA free or using a natural based plastic. Then we have also that are very important to store in your kit is a bunch of cotton swabs. I have these, instead of cotton balls, I have cotton pads, which are essentially the same thing, just flat, and then gauze. And the reason why you want to store these is because when you're dealing with cuts and bruises of any kind, especially on other people, you don't want to use your bare hands and introduce any germs or anything that exists on your hands, whether they're clean or not. You just want to use something else that is clean to apply some of your essential oil mixes to the cut and cleanse it. So definitely stick with or make sure that you have in your kit some all-natural cotton swabs, cotton balls, gauze pads, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I would suggest just those. Like I said, use them to apply the coconut oil, peroxide, witch hazel, iodine, anything that you're going to be applying directly to a cut or bruise. Then you can also use the gauze to cover a cut or bruise after it's been cleansed to keep it from becoming infected by protecting it from the air. That's another way that you can use the gauze pads. Then I have iodine. Now this is not found I was unable to find this in my natural and organic store that I go to. So I did purchase this from a local grocer. And it is it contains mostly iodine. It does have a little bit of glycerin and citric acid, but it is fairly natural. It's not like I said in the beginning, some things you're unable to find. That is not a must-have. That is just something that I wanted to throw on the list in case you are unable to obtain some of the essential oils. You want to use that for cleaning a wound. As you know, it's used in hospitals. It's really good to protect your cut or bruise from becoming infected. But something else that it's been used for, which I haven't tried myself, but I've done a lot of research on it, is that they use iodine for purifying water. So just a little information. You can definitely look that up and get a little bit more research do a little bit more research on it and get your own perspective on that, but just a little something I wanted to throw in there. It's also said to have some benefits when dealing with radiation. Next, I have my essential oils. So we have lavender essential oil, and this is an all organic oil. I get a lot of my oils from mountainroseherbs.com, and that's because they are one of the few places, that provide an all natural organic oil. So that's the lavender. And what the lavender has to offer is it's great for nervous energy. It's really good for calming the nerves and to assist in going to sleep. It's also used for acne and psoriasis, eczema, any kind of cut, wound, or burn, sunburns even. And I personally, my favorite use for lavender, other than the scent of it, is that it's really good for bug bites. If you have any kind of bug bite and it's itchy, you can just put a few drops of the lavender essential oil on your finger or cotton swab and then apply it to the bug bite. And within, 30 seconds to a minute, the itching subsides and you don't feel that burning sensation anymore. Now, I just said something that I said earlier to never do. I said to apply the lavender oil directly to your skin. That is my own personal preference. There are a few essential oils that I'm comfortable with using directly on my skin because I've used them for so long now without any adverse effects. Probably the two that I feel most comfortable with using are the lavender and tea tree. And like I said, you definitely want to do a test on yourself first. But when doing this test, you'll probably want to mix your lavender oil with coconut oil or water, and that will help you to not have to be exposed to the potency at such a high level if this is the first time that you're trying it. So just do your little patch test and make sure that all is well. The second essential oil is peppermint. And I absolutely love peppermint. It is very calming. It's uplifting. It's great for motion sickness and digestive problems when dealing with a tea or an herb. It's an awesome drink to make. It's also a great stress reliever. And it has an amazingly cool cooling effect. So if somebody's overheated or really hot, has a fever, mixing a little essential oil in water in a little spray jar, or applying it with a cotton swab around the person's face. Definitely stay away from the eyes, but maybe on your cheeks and on the forehead, maybe on the back of the neck and the wrist. That will help to bring a cooling effect on. So it would help to calm the body and make sure to help to cool the person down a little bit. Next, I have cloves, and cloves are extremely potent. You can either use cloves or clove essential oil, and the reason why I have that on the list today is because I found, from personal experience, that cloves are an awesome toothache reliever. They help tremendously. What I do is I take a few cloves and I crush it up in a mortar and pestle or in my spice grinder, and I will either steep that in with some water or some oil. Probably I prefer water, but you can also do this with oil, any kind of edible oil, olive oil, coconut oil, sweet almond oil. Those would be good. But basically, you just steep it and let it sit there. Let the pot of water boil very lightly, not a rolling boil, but a light boil, and then apply the cloves and just take it off the heat and let it sit there for at least 5 minutes. Same thing with the oil, at least 5 minutes, and then you're gonna strain it with a cheesecloth or a very fine strainer, and then you'll be left with just an oil or a water, depending on what you use, and you can apply that to the gum area that is swollen, infected, or just aching all around. You can use a cotton swab to apply that, and if you're using the water concoction, then you can use a cotton ball and dip it in the water, or pour some of the water on it, and then just bite down on it, or apply it right to the gum area. And within a matter of minutes, you'll feel a numbness starting to occur. It doesn't last an extremely long time, but it does help to take away some of that pain and uncomfortable feeling that you experience. So that's why I really enjoy cloves. They also smell wonderful. But cloves are very powerful, so they may irritate sensitive skin, and you definitely want to blend it with something in order to cut down on some of it. Then we have eucalyptus. This is a eucalyptus lemon oil that I have, essential oil, and I love eucalyptus, but I also love lemon, and then they have this blend that they've created, or that they've combined, so 2 for 1. But eucalyptus is really good for throat problems, for cuts and bee stings, insect stings all around. Really good for cleaning a wound, or for dressing a burn or a cut. And it is, when taken as a tea, like I said, it's really good for treating a sore throat. one of my favorite things to do with eucalyptus oil is when I have sinus problems, if I'm having a hard time breathing, or if I just want to even cleanse my house, I will put about a cup of water on a pot and let it boil. And this is, again, not tap water, because I don't want the steam to release any of the chemicals that are in the water. So going back to what I suggested earlier, never tap water. So I put about a cup of water in a pot and put that on the stove, probably on about medium. Add a couple drops of the essential oil of eucalyptus, and eucalyptus is extremely, extremely potent, so you may just want to even start with just one drop, and then so you can gauge it. But let that boil, and then shut it off, and let the steam evaporate into the air, and it will help open up your sinuses and freshen the air. And if you have any coughing or wheezing or anything like that, it definitely helps to clear that out some too. So that's one of my favorite uses for eucalyptus. Then we have the lemongrass. Lemongrass is also another favorite of mine, and this one I was unable to obtain in an organic form. Sometimes I'm able to, sometimes I'm not. So this one is not organic, however it is 100% natural and pure. It doesn't contain anything else except for the pure lemongrass extract. And lemongrass is what they call an antipyretic, so that it is useful for bringing down a high fever. It is also really good for gas and ingestion, and is said to stop the formation of gas. Again, if you're taking lemongrass internally, you'll want to go with the herb and use that to make a tea or tincture, which you can research to get a little bit more information on how to do that. But yeah, I like lemongrass. Again, I like to use that as a freshener for my home, but I've also found that it's really good for preventing bugs from coming around. Ants don't like it. Gnats, they don't really like it. So it's good for, like I said, so many things. You definitely want to research and find out all the benefits that these essential oils have to offer. And finally, my last essential oil is tea tree. And like I said, I absolutely adore tea tree. I use it ridiculously, and that's why I have the big bottle. This too is a certified organic tea tree oil. It is from a different company, but nonetheless, it's organic. And I try to stick with Mountain Rose as much as I can, but sometimes I'm in between an order and I need it, so I can run to the all-natural food store that I shop at locally and pick up these the other variety. The tea tree is awesome for muscle aches and pains and sprains. It helps wounds to heal much more quickly than if just left alone. And it also protects from infections, and it's highly antibacterial, which most essential oils are antibacterial because of the level of potency they have. But I have had a better experience with using tea tree, like I said, straight, without having to mix it with a base oil or water. Therefore, I prefer it for any kind of wound cleaning or any kind of cuts or bruises or anything like that. I prefer it for that purpose because of the fact that I've been able to use it straight on my skin without any adverse reactions. But it's a really good one to keep around. Okay, moving along, I have coconut oil. An organic coconut oil. This is one of the brands that I purchase for cooking and or body applications. It's one of the best ones that I found. There are a few other ones that have more of a coconut smell. So depending on what if you're going to cook with it and you want that coconut smell and taste, then you'll want to go with the other one, but it usually says it on the container whether it's deodorized or not. Coconut oil is really good. It's extremely high in vitamin E and vitamin K, and it's used to protect the skin in that it's excuse me for that. That it's good for psoriasis and dermatitis and eczema, and like I said, it's protective. It provides a protective layer on your skin that is protecting dust and particles and viruses and fungus and bacteria from being able to enter that cut. So after you've cleansed it and you're going to be applying your essential oil, and you want to mix it with a little bit of coconut oil, and you can put it in one of these containers. You can do this ahead of time, or you can do it at the time of the incident occurring. I would definitely suggest that you may have a few of these around and mix different essential oils in with the coconut oil, and then just label it. You can just get like a little Avery label or a piece of tape and write with a black permanent marker on the tape as to what you put in there. So yeah, coconut oil used to mix with the essential oils so that when you have a cut or a bruise, after you've cleansed it, you would apply it using a cotton swab or the Q-tip. And next, let's see. The other item I have today is organic honey. Now this honey is raw. I don't have a whole lot in here, so it's raw, unfiltered, organic. I would always suggest that you go with this type of a honey. This is, in my opinion, this is real honey. The other honey that may be just clear, it doesn't contain all of the nutrients and benefits that honey has to offer. It's been processed, and this is unpasteurized and minimally processed, only to get it to the point of where they can actually put it into a jar. So if you like honey and use honey in your diet, I would use this type of a honey for any and every application that you use it for, whether it be internally, drinking it in a tea, or eating it in food, or applying it on your skin. Definitely go with this type. Again, this is what it looks like. It doesn't look clear. It has a darker color to it because it's not been filtered. Now the reason why I chose honey is because it is antibacterial, antifungal, and it has a really good it helps in the healing process. It's a natural antiseptic, and it helps wounds to close up and heal faster because it provides a stimulation to the wound area and helps the tissues to seal up and heal faster. Like I said, it's really good for many things. Another quick tip is that it's really good for acne. You can make a little paste of, which I'm going to explain a little bit more about this one too, but you can make a little paste of honey and cinnamon and apply that to any kind of acne or blemish areas, and it will help to heal and seal up that area on your skin and help it to be or have the bacteria removed from it so that it heals much faster. And finally on my list I have cinnamon. This is cinnamon powder. I also keep with me cinnamon sticks, but for this situation, in this case, I would suggest the cinnamon powder. It's really good in removing blood impurities. It's great for pain and stiffness of the muscles and joints. It also helps stop bleeding, and that's another reason why it's good for acne. And it also is really good in assisting the healing process, as well as for colds and flus and sore throats. Great to make as a tea, just the honey and cinnamon tea. Great to add to any tea. It's all around good. I love cinnamon and I love honey, and I put them in lots of things. And there are a few others that I have. I'm not going to go ahead and go over them, but they will be provided on the list. The items that I explained to you today are the ones that I suggest that you keep. However, there are definitely other items out there that are good to have as well and can be used in place of some of the items that I mentioned, such as aloe, witch hazel, garlic, and soap. I make soap, and so I have these little soap samples that I give away, and something like this would be great to keep in your kit in the event that you don't use one of the other cleansers in order to do that. And I'm going to go over quickly what the different cleansers are that can be used, but I would suggest either a soap in a bar form or a liquid soap. Peroxide, hydrogen peroxide, or witch hazel. Now, all of these are easily obtainable, and the peroxide and the witch hazel are in a liquid form. They're going to be, you're going to have to buy a big jar or a big container, and then maybe fill one of your little containers with it if you're going to use those. But definitely anytime there's a cut, bruise, burn, the first thing you want to do is wash it, cleanse it with either the soap and water or either the peroxide or witch hazel. And if none of those are available, just use straight water. Cleanse, then dress the wound cut with one of the essential oils and coconut oil or any other oil that you prefer, and apply that to the cut or burn with one of your applicators, which would be either the cotton swab or cotton Q-tips, and then if need be, use one of the gauze pads to cover that up and apply a bandage. And probably I would suggest every day or so to replace that bandage and do that process, repeat that process. And there are a number of different things that you can do with these different essential oils, and I gave you a few tips, and again provided on this list that I will provide to you. I gave you some practical applications for how to combat or deal with bug bites, toothache, gum infections, cuts and scrapes, burns, fevers, stuffy nose, earaches, and then I have something else that I wanted to mention briefly, and this is a fun fact. Someone in the Handmade Collective, goes by the name of Larkin, she found out I was doing this demo and sent me a message and asked me, do you know about the many benefits of banana peels? And I was like, well, I do know that there are a lot of benefits to banana peels, and I use them for many things. However, I did not know what she told me, and so she let me know that at one point she had a piece of glass stuck in her foot, I believe, and she used a banana peel, the inside of the banana peel, to help get that glass out. So I was intrigued, I researched it, and found out that bananas have extremely high drawing power, and they work well to draw out the toxins from the body. They're really good for warts and boils and other impurities, for splinters and acne and bug bites and mosquito bites, and they're just the peel is amazing. I had no idea that it had this type of a benefit. But yeah, there is actually an enzyme inside of a banana peel that helps to dislodge any kind of splinter or something that's lodged into your skin. And so yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. Banana, who would have thought? Again, do your own research and you can find out much more about it. I'm trying to go quickly because I'm going over my time. And finally, I wanted to share with you that iodine is something that was used to be put into, or I guess it still is put into, regular salt that you buy at the store, white salt. I do not use that type of a salt. I use sea salt or real salt, which contains vitamins and minerals that haven't been taken out of the salt. So I found that I need to make sure make sure I have enough iodine in my system at all times, because iodine is something that is required by your body, and if you don't intake a lot of kelp and sea vegetables, I should say, then you may, or plants, you may not be obtaining enough iodine for your body. So this is just a quick test that you can do. Apply a little bit of the iodine. It's called a patch test. You just put a little bit on the inside of your arm, and then within 24 hours, you'll notice that either that iodine is gone or it's still there. And if it's still there, that means that your body has an ample supply of iodine and you don't require any more. However, if it's disappeared, that means your body has absorbed the iodine because it needs it, and so that means you're deficient in at some level of iodine, and so that you just want to keep an eye on that so that you can make sure you eat more vegetables that contain iodine, or even take a mineral supplement that contains iodine. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed my explanations, and again, like I said, I will have this PDF available to you so that you can review everything that I've said and or do your research and come up with more benefits that are available to you from these different essential oils and various others. Something I just wanted to make a note of is that I don't have any degrees or certificates in this area, and I just wanted to put that out there. All of my knowledge is based on me living my life and creating for my family and friends, and over the years I've just gained this knowledge after lots of research and use. So if you want any more information about MyCoCreations, if you have any questions, comments, if you want to need help in picking out some of the best essential oils for you, for your family, for a friend, or what have you, I'm available. You can contact me at www.mycocreations.com. I have a contact button there, or you can simply send me an email to questions with an S at mycocreations.com. You can also reach me on Facebook. Just search MyCoCreations, and I'll be available to talk with you and discuss via the phone and or through email, or of course any kind of email and correspondence to help you out. And finally, on my website is a link to the benefits and cautions of popular essential oils, most of which I offer through my website for your co-creations. And that link gives you a lot of different information on some of the information I shared today, but some other information on other essential oils as well, as far as the benefits and any kind of precautions you should take, because some essential oils are not good for pregnant women and or children and or sensitive skin. So just want to check that out, and thank you for being here and taking part in this demo today.